So if you are following Discord, you have probably noticed that I've tried to make a arm with ball joints. Thank you for focusing. Um, and they, I mean, at least Ben and Christian have pointed out that, well, maybe we could make this some more elegantly by extending this part here like straight and stuff and having, this differently. But the problem is that we want the ball of the ball joint to be in line with the lower part of the wishbone. That's why this is raised. I agree that this is not optimal. This is not the way I would like. Okay, are we back? Are we back? What happened? Stream stopped for a a reason. I don't know. Um, Interesting. Give me some feedback. Hmm. I am a bit confused. Hmm. I'm gonna wait for a bit. Yeah. Okay, it's good now. Okay. Right. What was the last thing that you heard from me? Okay. What was the last thing that I said? Hmm. Interesting. Interesting. Um. hmm. Yeah, the A arm is okay. Stop for a second. Okay. I don't know why. Yeah. Okay. The A arm, of course, is not optimal at all. Mm, it's I don't know how to fix this. The problem is that the A arm, as it is now, it's okay. You know, it's it's fine as an A arm. The problem is all the things around. So, as I said before, the ball joint here has to be where it is because it has to be in line with the rest of the A arm. We cannot do the A arm higher up and have the ball joint here be at an angle and stuff. That's just not okay. That's why we cannot control this properly. So we have this inline, and that's why we have to have this step here. I don't like it, but that's how it is. The other problem is, let me show. So the other problem here is that once the camera focuses. Now, the other problem is that we had to move this part here to the back. Before we had it here in the front, but now the A arm here, it's preventing us from having it here. And we have, as you can see, this piece here. So it creates a nice, thank you, camera, a nice angle, the perfect angle actually, because this is 45 degrees, that this is 90 degrees, and it's fine. But it's kind of in the way of things, not really optimal. But it's the geometry and everything is of this is a hell of a lot better than this here, and part of it is also the spring placement, because as you can see, I have lowered the spring here by 1 stud for, for better or for worse. But the secret is down here. So what I did here, and let me show you like this. Just a moment. Let me just adjust everything here. Okay, so you will see that I have placed the spring below the wishbone, and the wishbone is a little bit different than before. I figured that the connector here is very hard to pull out. Even without the reinforcement, I tried it, spring is pretty much in there. The connector doesn't pull out. The thing is that the spring is now 1 stud closer to the hub than before, which is always good. And it is lower. So overall, if you look at it from this perspective, you will see that the driver side, that it's still the old one, is dropping a lot lower than the passenger side, which is the new one, which is good. So we don't have to put in any bump stops or limiters of drop limiters. So this is much better. And we have it's pretty light and sturdy. So on this side here, we have implemented the connectors here that are basically, they are a safeguard just in case the connector here would disconnect and stuff. I think the ground clearance is okay, and if it's not okay, we can still adjust it with the position of the spring here. But I actually really want the spring to be further out, so closer to the hub. That is really, it's something that we want. It's not okay if it's in the middle, because then the spring is way too soft. At least that's my opinion. So we need to do something. Oh, nice metering. We need to do something about the upper A-arm. I don't know exactly what, but something. Let me explain. Put the camera back into its mount, so I have both hands free to work with. So we do not really want to raise this pickup point here, because if we do, then we cannot have the pop-up headlights here, and they need to be here. Otherwise, this doesn't work. So if we would raise this point, that wouldn't go well, and we cannot turn this lift arm, so this A-arm basically, around, because if we do, then since this is a 45-degree angle, it's just not going. We have to have it turned that way, because there's a chamfer here that allows for the 45-degree angle. So come on. So there's that. Besides, there's little point in doing that. We do not really want this to be higher. I agree that it would be absolutely fantastic if there would be a ball joint mount in the 90-degree connector. That would be absolutely fantastic, but there isn't. And since the size of this is as it is, all we can do is, let me take the control of this again. All we can do is that we, come on, focus please. Can you focus please? Still not focused. Come on. Yeah, let's see. So that all that we can do is, if we replace this connector here with a number, I don't know, number 4 maybe, and have the ball joint here be closer here, that could be possible, and we will definitely try it in a few moments, so that we basically steer this clear of this lift arm, and we can have something here. We'll see, but definitely we cannot allow ourselves, you know, we definitely need this step here. Come on, focus. Focus, please. Okay. We definitely need this step here. I don't like it, but there, you know, that's how it is. So this ball joint here is in line with this ball joint. Yeah. Doesn't look good, but that's how it is. Yeah. Well, there's nothing to it. Let's experiment with the angle of this and see. So the quicker we do this, the quicker we can move on and do other stuff that we do need to do. Anyway, yeah. And I am aware of the fact that Kada axles are different, but the construction of this is in a way that it's actually not that relevant how stiff, you know, how tight this connection is. First of all, because all of this is mostly connected via basically, it's not being pulled out, it's being pushed in when the suspension is working. So, you know, it's not really being pushed out. So the possibility of this happening is low. Okay, yeah, like this. So let's see where this leads us. Probably we want it like that. The axis, of course, on which this rotates is going to be well, diagonal, but that doesn't really matter that much, I would say. Now I need to find possibilities of mounting this. Of course, I mean, once we figure it out, we're gonna change the middle tunnel here to provide us with the mounting points. But this is actually looking pretty neat. Okay. Yes. I'm gonna use this here, like that, and like that. are good. Very good. And I'm going to show you in a second. Come on, go in. Thank you. Okay. And you are going right here. There we go. Okay. Nice. Do we have some bumps there? First, I need to align it. Let's fix this into place. There. So we cannot. No, we don't have bumps there. But what we do have is a slight toe out. We do not have bumps there, but we do have toe out, which is unfortunate. How much does this toe out affect things? Let's see. Best this. So we do have. It's very slight, but there is some toe out, I guess. There is no bumps there. And we have a very nice mounting point here, which we are gonna change, of course, but this is just temporary, just to see how it works. So it is clearing this by, by a bit, so we can do something with this, I guess. It's definitely a better solution than before. Definitely a better solution. And since we have a toe in, I wonder if we could experiment with this here. What I wonder is if we would place this guy here one stud closer to the center of the car. Yeah, but that we don't want this. Exactly. Stupid me. We don't want this because this would make the upper wishbone the wrong length. We want this to be 5 studs in length compared to the 7 studs in the bottom. So the rear point is okay because it doesn't change much in terms of length and then camber gain, but we don't want to extend this. That's the problem now. Let's see what would happen if we do this here. What would happen if no half forget half a stud. Forget half a stud offsets. We are not friends of half a studs here. This would be acceptable. Yeah, this would be acceptable, but would we gain anything by this? No, not really. No, the lower part is actually a wishbone that has a link, and the link is basically providing just stability front and back. So that we don't get too much flexion here. If the link was not there, let me put this on the mount. So if we omitted the link here, we would get this. Yeah, it's a single wishbone, but that's garbage. So we have the link here. We have the link here, and the link here makes this sturdy. That's the purpose of the link. So we have a slight, very slight toe out. No, the weight of the wheel is not really important. But what we did is we did play with this here. So you see on this side here, we still have the version of the upper wishbone from before. I didn't want to do both sides because there's no point. We want to compare stuff. So this part here, the way I see it now, has a very slight, and I mean very slight, toe in. This has a very slight toe out. So the 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 room for adjustment is in the upper wishbone. No, half a stud is too much. Half a stud is way too much. We're talking here about very slight amounts. Very slight amounts. This is like minimum. If we move this like, I don't know, very, very slightly forward. Yeah, very slightly forward. What would happen? Yeah, very slightly forward. This would get pulled in a little bit. A little bit. Unfortunately, I don't see a way of really moving this very slightly forward. Except if we did not use this here, but we used the number 5 connector here. If we use number 5 connector, but then everything changes. Maybe for the better. No, ideally I want it to be straight. I don't want toe out or toe in. Technically, if you have a front-wheel drive car or an all-wheel drive car, you would like the front wheels to have a very slight toe out, because when you apply the power to the wheels get pulled in. But if you have a rear-wheel drive car, you want technically a very slight toe in, because when the power is applied to the rear wheels and the car starts going forward, the geometry is gonna straighten the wheels out. That's the theory, but in reality, there's so many factors that things vary quite a bit, depending on your suspension setup, the type of suspension you have, and it's not a cookie cutter solution. There's not one way of doing things. So yeah, let's see if any of this makes any sense. So what we want is we want the upper mounting point to move very slightly forward. That's our goal. Obviously, some things will have to change. some things will have to change, but you know. This has nothing to do with the rear. The rear is very separate. We are talking about the front suspension. The front suspension is different. Imagine if the rear is just straight. It's a solid axle. It goes straight. Doesn't matter. We don't care about the rear. This is just the front. Sprinkle some two-slot connectors here. Let's see what we can do. So obviously the front here has to be straight. That I cannot do anything about that. Otherwise, we are not gonna get the correct length of the wishbone. Okay. Okay. So basically this is what we have here, but the angle here now is not 90 degrees. So we are probably gonna move this forward, I guess, or up. I don't know yet. Or we don't move it at all. Maybe just, yeah, maybe just this needs to be, you know, this needs to be slightly forward, so this does not need to move. But you know, when the rear here is gonna be moved slightly out or whatever, then this will automatically move. And if this goes a little bit further out, it's just a few millimeters. It doesn't really matter that much. Let's see. We want, what do we want here? What do we want actually? We want another 5. Let's see. Let's see. No, we don't want another 5. Ideally, we want this to be less than 90 degrees, so a sharper angle. But that's just wishful thinking. So actually, we can have this longer. And we can move this here one step further out. Okay. This is slightly move forward. That's the difference. What is the difference? Not quite. Not quite. I mean, this is still very optimal. This is still very, very optimal. If we move this forward and out, we would actually, this point here is slightly higher than the back point. So we have a anti-die geometry, this setup here. We don't really need it, we just have it. So if we move this pickup point here one step further to the front and one step further out, we would still be good. But we don't want to move it out, we just want to move it forward, which we totally can. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens here. Makes everything even more, how should we put it, elegant, perhaps. Right, so let's first explore this. Yeah, but this needs to be 90 degrees anyway. We need to experiment then with this part here. The steering rack at the moment is locked. So that's not really an issue. Nope, hub is fixed. I'm not doing the hub. Okay. Here I am thinking, in this very specific case, would this be a possibility? Maybe, maybe not. Let's see how tight this would be. Not impossible. So I did this so that we have clearance for the steering rack, and still we can have this here. So we have, hopefully, no, this is a very tight fit. We'll see if this all fits. There's possibilities. So this is fixed, and now let's see where. There. This is to my eye, this is zero bump steer, I guess. Now let's see what we can do here. What can we do here? So ideally we would have this part here as you cannot see much. I don't know how to make you see more. Just have to trust me, because you know it's almost impossible for me to make you to show you what I'm doing here, and actually being able to do it. The camera would need to be on the other side, which it at the moment can't. So we want this part here to be as close to the spring as possible in, you know, ideal circumstances. And we would have it, I don't know, like this, maybe. Which even would work, kinda. Maybe. That sucks. It doesn't work. We are at square one, basically. What if I use a 4? We probably wouldn't do anything with this, but maybe just slightly. What? Okay. So even though this part here is the same, and thing is this part is, so the wishbone is slightly different, angled, you know, very slightly differently, and we don't have toe out. I don't see a toe out here, maybe even a toe in. Let's see. I mean, I'm always wanting the wheel because the wheel is giving me a better indication, but yeah, this is perfect now. You know, you have to discard the wheel hanging because of the slack in the bearing. That's just, you know, irrelevant. Of course, it would be hanging out this way, and if I do it like this, it's gonna hang the other way. But that's irrelevant. You see that the hub is not moving when I'm doing this, and yeah, it's pretty nice. Yeah. That's it. That's it. That's it. And since this is moving in a predictable way, let me see. Yes, we do have camber gain. Come on, focus. Hello. Can you? What? Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So this is focusing. Where do I have? Where is the headlight? There it is. Okay. So since this is focusing, we have the pop-up headlight, which has the room. Let me see. Does this clear? Yes. Oh my god. It does clear. I almost didn't think it does, but this connector here and this thing here do not touch. They do not touch, which is amazing. So we can have the pop headlight connect here, just the way it should be. Well, it should be the other way around, but yeah. So nice, and it's in the exactly same position as before. Where is this here? screw should be, where should it be? At the, oh, here. Yeah. Here, exactly here. Like this. Come on. Okay. And the good part is that, oh, yeah, I need to unlock the steering. The good part is that the steering does, so, well, the wheel basically does not touch the headlight. At no point does it touch anything from the headlight. Even though you can see that it's basically depressed completely. There is no point in contact, of contact, which is very nice. My only concern here is, and I posted this on Discord already, that, see, this is the full drop of the wheel. So the axis of the wheel is at the lowest point of the chassis. And now when you compress stuff, let's say that this is right height ish. There's not that much give here, and even though the spring is one step further out, so it should be theoretically, having a bigger lever on the arm. I don't know. What we are gonna do here is we are obviously gonna replicate the setup on the other side and see what happens if we put all of the wheels on. I mean, replicating it on the other side is relatively quickly. Shouldn't take us too long. Yeah. So, just a second. The cat is acting up. What? Cats. I don't know. Now he's here under the laundry, and being there and what? Come on. Come on. Come on. What? You want to play with Lego? No. No. Really. What? Cats. Yeah. Yeah. So obviously we need to figure out a better way of mounting this mount point, and then we need to extend this thing here down there in a way that, you know, makes sense. He is basically ginger, you know. Yeah, I guess he does. Yeah. Finding out a better way of mounting this here, because we cannot mount it in the same way on the other side because of this part here. So we do need to think of something. Probably mounting it from, you know, from the frame here via a 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Something. Could we mount it? What could we mount it to? I don't know. To be perfectly honest with you, I don't know how we are gonna mount this. Because on this side it makes perfect sense. On the other side it does not. Ideally, of course, it would be, this whole thing would be one step closer to the spring. But I don't know how to do this. Just a second. Huh? Okay, we could have it like that. Yeah. Maybe. So this is a round hole, so a pinhole. But if we do it like this, this is it's gonna take up some space, but there's no better alternative, I guess. Yeah. It's gonna be as long as this, but it's gonna be a bit neater. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's do it. First, let's replicate the A-arm here. Now he's grooming himself here on the floor, just as if nothing happened. I need a 4 and a 6. Okay. So all of this has to go. And will be replaced. This here. Go. Okay. Now for the solution here. Okay. This here. Oh, fuck me. Okay, some disassembly required. I put this together really good. Really good. Come on. Goes together in a very specific sequence, which we need to change. Because this is... Oh god. Okay. Suboptimal. Okay. Now we can disassemble this. Okay. All this just so we can fit these. Okay. Right. But since we are here, we need to change the spring mount as well to what we have on the other side. So let's do this as well. And this here. Why do we have this here? This here in this specific way. Come on. So we can have. Good thing. Number 3. Yeah, I'm gonna change this a little bit. So I don't want to pull this out the same way again. So I'm gonna use this here. And since nothing is gonna be here, we can use an axle like that. There, and we can use this here on the other side. Sometimes I wish I had much smaller hands. Okay. And while we are here, we can take a look at this here. So we are going to have these two combined, and they're gonna fed in here. Like this. So we have our suspension mounts. They don't really bother anything here too much, but now we do need to redo the driver's side lower lift arm, and subsequently the upper spring mount, but first the lift arm. I mean lift arm, A-arm. Keep in mind, I'm pretty bad at mirroring things, so have some patience. Patience. So we have this here, we have this here, and it's here. And we have this here, and this one. Then we have these two, and we are doing this here, like that. This guy. mhm. I I mean, obviously, completely forgot how I did this in the first place. Ah, okay. It's been just a few days, and I have no recollection of how I did it. That's that's old age. Can't escape it. Can't escape it. No, no, no. Okay. Now let's see. Okay. This is here. This one is that. Then we have this here. Yeah. And this here. Yes. And now we have this guy here. That goes together like this. Come on. Okay. And like this. There we go. I mean, ideally we would have this guy here. And then this here. Oh yeah, and then now we can remove this here. No longer necessary. And we are using just this here. So we can pin this in here. Oh, the other way around. Oh, of course. Of course. I forgot. Yeah, this goes in there. That. Yeah. Now it makes sense. Okay. This. There we go. I think that's mirrored. Yeah. That's mirrored. Okay. And now we have this here. And this here. Lovely. Lovely. And now we need one more of those beautiful Kada connectors. That is somewhere on my desk. Ah, there it is. No. This. Yes. There. There. Oh, there. Same. And now we just need to do the top mount here, which is gonna be yeah, different. Fucking hell, cat. What are you doing? So this, this is the life of cats. He's been sleeping all day, and now he's coming alive. When you want to have some peace and quiet, the cat is acting up. As per the usual schedule. Nice. Actually, the stiffness is all right. It's pretty okay. And it's going straight. It's going straight. Holy shit, okay. Oh yeah, the rear is pretty stiff. So let's take one spring out. Even with just one spring, it's pretty stiff. So we, in the rear, we have to, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see about the rear. It's way too soft with these. Ideally, I guess it would be if we had, 4 of these in the rear, would be perfect. But we have the Kata springs, which are stiffer. So we have to deal with that. But yeah, this is good. It's good. This is good. And now we have to re-engineer the uprights going down. So let's see about that. And once we have that, I think the front suspension is done. I see little point in, doing more to it. So what is missing here is, of course, the extensions of these down there. We could do them lazy, just no, that's from the outside, and do them like this. Would work. We do have that pesky little gap here. So I don't know. Ideally, this would extend just straight down. But I guess come on. It's gonna be okay. Holy shit. The steering wheel carbon shaft doesn't have an easy life. It's gonna be really tight fit in there, but such is life. I mean, everything here is a tight fit. Like, literally. Okay, this is gonna be what, tricky-ish, depending on where we place it. And so you see, this guy here is, can you see it? Yeah, it's barely fitting in there. And now our shaft for the steering is also barely fitting in there. So I don't know if it needs to be steeper here. It's a pretty shallow angle. Probably needs to be steeper. Or if we, what if we do this? That's not gonna go well. Oh, it's such a tight fit. See, it has the where it goes through is just there. Just there. You know, I cannot really realistically have it much higher. It has to be just here. Which is gonna make the steering very tricky to do. We don't really have too much leeway. Oh, I hate this. Where is the steering wheel actually? I'm gonna put it away. It's somewhere. I don't know. Where did I put it? I have no idea. So I will take the substitute. I don't know. That's good enough for me for now. Just so we can get an idea. Yeah. It's, you know, it's just. The angles here are just good enough. It's gonna be a very tight fit, but it's gonna be a fit. Yeah. Yeah. God damn it. Okay. So the front end, I would say, is done. And it's really nice. Really nice. I think this is as good as we can possibly hope for. There's no collisions anywhere. No collisions anywhere. The geometry is nice. It's very stiff, so you know the wheels do not deflect as in your traditional Lego suspensions. You know, this is all very nice and stiff, and you know I still have, with the hand of God steering, I have all of the control, even though we have geared this up pretty tight for a 90-degree turn. I have all of the control, even if I press down hard, which is nice. Yeah. this also means that the servo is gonna have all the control, which is good. Yeah. So what's next? Next, we need to revisit the gearbox. So now that the suspension is sorted, we need to revisit this. So gearbox 4.0 or something. This system is gonna stay as this, but we have to do major revisions here because we do not have the custom gears that I did. We are gonna have to use the Kala differential, which is of course better than the Lego differential because it has a whole thread, which the Lego differential does not. Which means that we don't have to fiddle with, you know, with the connectors, which will make all of this wobble. No, this is nice and sturdy. And the other differential is gonna be the 4-stat all-stat differential, sadly. So the gearbox itself is gonna be bigger. Well, not on the outside, of course. The outside has to stay the same as it is, but it's gonna be a more challenging system here, because the shifting here that we have is gonna be different. It's gonna have to be different, smaller. I don't know how we are gonna do this, but we're gonna have to do something. I don't know how yet, because we are gonna have to come up with, I think, 3 studs in length. So this one is 3 studs, the other one is 4 studs, but with some clever, you know, manipulating of this, we are gonna get, you know, we are gonna gain 3 studs in length of the gear mechanism here. Let's take this off. Wow. Okay. Wow. Of course this would happen. Because why not? Why would you not do this, engine? Why would you not do this? Come on. Okay. Yeah. So our compact setup will be slightly different, for better or worse. But we are gonna, you know, we are gonna try to see to minimize the impact. Probably we can, you know, we can maybe change these a little bit to mitigate it, to have, you know, as little length gain as possible. And then we have to see how we're gonna do the shifting. Maybe not the same way as we have it here. Maybe we can think of a better way. Yeah. This is probably not gonna change, but this is definitely gonna change, because last time I used this, something did not work correctly for some reason. I don't know what. I don't know why it didn't. I think when the motors run, the car didn't want to run, and we need to figure out why. Yeah. But this is something that we're gonna do in you know, in the next stream. I have to, which will be tomorrow. So yeah, we're gonna make a, before we disassemble this, we're gonna make a, you know, another gear cluster like this, with this here, and um, this here, and then we need what? We need this here, this here, this here, the blue one, which is this one, is the only one I have, so we're gonna have to disassemble this. Yeah, because I don't have enough of them. And what we need one of these, and one of these, and one of these. How do I not? I don't. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And we're gonna replicate this gear cluster, but with the difference, I have ordered these. So I have ordered the Kada sliders, or whatever you want to call them, you know, because we need to see how they stack up. This is compatible, and this is also compatible. Yeah. So you know, this is how it's gonna happen. This is gonna insert directly into here, and this into here. You know, yeah, it's gonna be fine. Yeah. What I'm also hoping for is the phenomenon that we have here is when we are shifting from third to second, the gearbox stalls, because uh, because this one here and this one here, when they shift at one point, they are engaging two gears at the same time. So what do you mean if I can use the 24 tooth gear? Obviously, there is one 24 tooth gear in the gearbox, so one is going to be used in any case. But of course, we also do need to use this one. The custom gear is, we cannot use that because Kala doesn't have it. I assumed they have it, but I asked them. I've given them the pictures and the part number even that we saw that they have, but apparently they don't. So I don't know. I'm clueless. I'm not that smart. I don't know. If they say they don't have it, they don't have it. So yeah, this part is gonna be, so let's recap. This part here is gonna be longer, so this part here is gonna be shorter, which means that we are gonna have to think of a, well, of a better way of shifting this part here. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe, you know, like always, with our rebuilds, the rebuild is probably gonna be better than what we have here. At least. So, at least I hope so. At least I hope so. There are a few possibilities. One of them could involve one of these frames that would basically, if we use two of these, so one on top, one on the bottom, press everything together, this would be interesting. Make it all more symmetrical than this. Yeah. Because now we know we can. Yeah. That would be something. So we would use the 5-stat frames, and then these frames on top on the bottom. There are possibilities. There are possibilities. Yeah. Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it. Well, the gearbox is gonna work, of course, but we want to do when we. Yeah, I know. I know. We'll, we are going to examine all of this. There are possibilities here as well. Yeah, as Ben said. We'll see. Technically, we can run the engine from the front as well. Theoretically. We'll see. I need to think about it. Maybe I'll build something off stream, just so we can save time, and then we are going to discuss my failed attempt in stream. But yeah, there is obviously possibilities here to save space and make everything more streamlined and all of that. And now that we have the engines here, we can maybe integrate them a little bit better into all of this than this. This is fine, but can be done better. And maybe we can do the disconnect for the engines that we have here. We can maybe integrate it into the gearbox as well, in some sort, like a a neutral. We'll see. Ideally, the engines would be, the motors would be as close to the actual engine as possible. So everything would be close together, and we would omit the clutch here, bring these. Yeah, well, I mean, we technically we cannot bring them closer because they are actually then hitting the frame here, and sadly we cannot make the frame smaller, and we definitely don't want the engines to be one step higher up, and they cannot be further apart because then they don't fit either. So there's that, and I definitely don't want them here in the front, so they are gonna have to stay where they are. These are my thoughts for today, and we are going to disassemble this tomorrow. Yeah. Anyway, I do. I need the clock there. We'll see. Anyway, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and I see you